All right. Hello. Welcome to this live stream of what really to think about when you're exploring franchise businesses. And this is really the things that I've learned over the past 12 years of being in franchising through trial and error, through different experiences. And they're really things that I don't think most people would tell you or even know. Right. And so these are things that are kind of insider track that I've learned over the years. Um, and it really applies to any business. My focus is really on home service franchises, but I'm going to try to apply it to all different types of franchise businesses. But a couple things I want to just mention. So, me, I'm Dan Clapp, CEO of Voda Cleaning and Restoration, been in the franchise space, as I mentioned, for 12 years. Started off as a franchise consultant. Then I had a franchise lead generation company, sold that to private equity in May of 2022, and then started the Voda and Franchise Playbook Company in late 2022, right before the new year. So I've seen all kinds of different perspectives. I also was part of a franchise system in 2014. So I can see things from that lens. So from franchise to franchise consultant to franchise lead generation to now franchisor, and then also spent a lot of time in the industry. So the couple things that I always like to talk about is there's really five things that you need to look for when you're exploring franchise opportunities. And really it comes down to number one, how are you going to get customers? And how is the franchisor going to support you in doing so? Like, how are they going to help you find customers? Do they have playbooks on it? Do they have a digital marketing program? Do they have, accounts that they're going to give to you? Like, what is the way you're going to get leads? And is it something that's scalable and sustainable that you can do? Right? What is the marketing strategy? What's the digital strategy? You really want to dive into how are you going to get customers? And that's really true for any business that you want to go into. It's like if you don't have customers, you don't have a business, right? So how do you go and secure getting customers? How's the franchisor going to help you do that? And just ensure that you can go to market in your territory and be able to get customers. Number two really centers around once you have those customers, how are you going to support them, right? How are you going to get employees that you can service those customers with, right? So you need to have employees at your company. So for example, in home services, you're going to need technicians and managers. How do you go about getting those people? And again, how does the franchisor help you in doing that? Right. So what's the support system? Do they have a hiring program? How are they going to help you find employees to work within your business? Number three really centers around chances are, if you're looking at a franchise, there's already going to be, you know, um, businesses in your market that are, the same as yours, right? Like the chances are you're not going into a market with a totally different product or service. And there's nothing wrong with that. But how is the business and the brand going to stand out to the consumer? Like what's the unique selling proposition that the consumer is going to be able to learn or like quickly, like what's going to cut through the noise, what's going to make you different in the marketplace. And then number four really centers around how are you going to make money? Like what is the numbers that you can make out of this business, right? What is the average franchise owner making? What are the bottom franchise owners making? What are the top producers making? If they're a top producer, do you share something that like them? Do you have the same skill set? Or is it a market that's different than yours? Or do they have a skill set that's different than yours? And if they're a bottom producer, why? Right? Like what makes a top producer? And does top producers or average producers fit what I, as the candidate, know I have as well? And you really achieve learning that and validation, right? You want numbers that make sense. And then finally, the day in the life. What's the day in the life of an owner in the franchise system? And does that day in the life, right, that you're going to spend most of your time doing, does it match what you like doing and are good at, right? So, for example, in Voda, we call it the mayor of the town. Someone has to be out there networking, building relationships, building their business, and they need to be comfortable doing that and really be proficient at doing it, be able to do it, right? So if you think about that again, it's number one, how are you going to get customers and how's the franchisor going to help you? Number two, how are you going to get employees and how is the franchisor going to help you in doing that? Number three is what's the unique selling proposition in the marketplace? Number four is what are the numbers, right? What are the numbers in the business that you can earn? And then five is what's the day in the life of an owner? And, does that match what you are looking to do and that you're good at? And so to kind of go through these a little bit more in detail, when it comes to lead acquisition, that's the most important, right? And so you need to explore that. Do they have a good digital strategy for Meta ads and Instagram ads and LinkedIn and Google PPC, local service ads, or Google guaranteed? How is the GMB ranking in the markets that they're already serving? How's the SEO? What's the SEO plan? How many reviews does the business currently have? Like in Voda, we have over 10,000 five-star reviews in 32 states. We have a playbook and a system on how to get reviews, right? That's something important that a franchisor should be providing, is this ability to get reviews. How do I get five-star reviews? Because at the end of the day, SEO is only as good as the reviews that the business has, right? If you think about it, if you go to Google and you're searching for a gym in your area or home service company in your area, how does Google connect you with the best home service companies? Well, they need a way to rank them, so they do it off of reviews, right? So your SEO and your lead, acquisition is going to get better the more five-star reviews that you're able to get, as well as your brand as a whole is able to get, right? People can see this is a great company and it's working well. What really matters most, though, is your five-star reviews in your market. I mean, think about it. If you were in the customer's shoes and you're on Google, would you rather a company that has 50 reviews or 500 reviews? Which one would you pick? Or if they had 500 five-star reviews, a 4.9 rating, or the company with a 4.0 rating, which one are you picking? Reviews are like your billboard. Reviews are your storefront, right? If you walked into a shoe store and the shoes were dirty and disorganized in the window versus a store with beautiful shoes designed nicely, which one would you go in? That is really what your Google My Business page, your reviews page is all about. And so how does the franchisor help you ensure that you're securing lots and lots of five-star reviews and help you get customers? When it comes to employees, I like businesses where the labor pool is non-skilled labor, meaning something where I can find employees that want to do the work, right? More specialized labor is harder to find. More broader labor is easier to find, right? And so how is the franchisor going to help you find employees? Do they have a recruiting program? Do they have, playbooks on how to hire and what to pay, or like guidelines on what to pay? The unique selling proposition is so important. How is that brand going to stand out in the marketplace? Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone knows the brand, but does the brand turn heads? Does the brand get attention when it goes into a marketplace? I always like to use McDonald's as an example. When they first launched and you had those golden arches, it's not that everyone knew the golden arches, but when they saw them, it would turn their head. They'd go into the drive-thru. They'd have a great experience. They'd tell their friends, and then the business would grow locally, right? And so you need a brand that's able to stand out, whether it's the branding and then as well the unique way of doing the business in a way that creates raving fans, creates customers that are happy, and they go and they leave reviews. And then when you break down number 4, when it comes down to the numbers, at the end of the day, numbers make sense. Some people want to be in a business that's more of a lifestyle business. Others want to make money. Like to me, I'm in the restoration business. Is it sexy? No. Is making money, exciting? Yes, right? I'd rather be in a business that can make money. And I love the fact that we also make an impact on homeowners, right? And so, what are the numbers? What is the bottom line, kind of net profit that you could make in that business at maturity, after royalties, after managers, after your investment, after everything else? You want to look at the top line revenue, the average ticket, the conversion rate of leads. You want to look at the gross profit margin. You want to look at then obviously the net unit economics. And then the day in the life. I can't stress how important that is again. If the business requires you to be really operations focused and you're a salesperson, maybe that's not for you. If the business is more for salespeople and you love to network, then the day in the life makes sense for you. Make sure that day in the life aligns with what you like doing and you enjoy doing, which usually is the same, right? We usually like what we're good at. We got to find something that the day in the life of the owner matches what you're looking to do in your day-to-day life. So again, number 1, how are you going to get customers and how's the franchisor going to help you? Number 2, how are you going to get employees and how's the franchisor going to help you? Number 3, how are you going to get a unique selling proposition in your marketplace and stand out? What's going to make you different to the consumer that cuts through the noise? Number 4, what are the numbers? And do the numbers in that business make sense? Don't just look at top performers. Does the average owner's numbers fit what you're looking to do? And obviously you want to be a top producer, but what does the average look like? And then finally, what's the day in the life of an owner? Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to try to do more of these live streams on franchise ownership and the things that I know. And if you're interested in learning more about franchising or about Voda, just go to my LinkedIn. If you're on LinkedIn, you can just DM me or go to www.myvodafranchise.com. Thank you and see you soon.